Welcome back to Mindful Musings. This is Rohne, my dear friend. Rohne, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, Ashley. Thank you for having me here on your podcast. My name is Rohne. I'm a silent emotional crisis expert. I'm a coach and author of the book Realized From Rock Bottom to Unconditional Love.
I cannot wait to read that. I seriously cannot wait to read that. I have talked so much with her. She has lived such a full life. I cannot wait to share with you guys. It's it's been so transformative, but yet so peaceful and rocky all at the same time. Um, One of the saddest and coolest things about you is that you made it through a narcissistic relationship, and this is the result of everything you've been through in your life. What was
Yes.
that like growing up with a dad that was narcissist? Let's start there.
You know, it's all in retrospect. I have this line that I really love. Life can only be lived forward and understood backwards. It's a quote, I forget from whom. But growing up, you really don't know that you're growing up with a narcissist, parent, or even parents. So the thing is, they're just parents for you and they're your everything when you're little. So you're looking up to them as a 5 year old and they're your whole world. So all you want to do is please them, be the perfect person they want you to be. And of course, they command perfection and nothing less. But here's the problem: growing up in India, I was defaulted by birth for my father because my gender was female.
Yep. Yep.
Gender is a huge issue in India. Yes. So, well, my mother, for her, not so much, but she had married a person for whom unconsciously uh, it was a problem because it showed up when we were growing up. Probably didn't show up when I was really little, but as soon as, I was like probably in primary school. So I was the elder daughter, and then I had a younger brother who was exceptionally brilliant. So what happened was the gender problem started showing because they kept comparing me to the intelligent as well. So somehow gender and intelligence, got tied, which is very common everywhere, right? Women,
Oh yeah.
yeah, girls are dumber, girls are not as intelligent. But
Yeah.
it took a really mean turn in my case because my younger brother, bless him, he was really kind, sensitive, Ivy League, kind of intelligence level. But he was pretty chill. It was my parents who had the problem,
Yeah. Yeah.
particularly my father. So I was always pitted as the dumb one, but it was only in comparison to my brother. I just never understood that I was pretty good myself. And I actually grew up believing that I was dumb, and also, like, and because of the gender too started playing out. And as you grow up, you know, because the even in India, at least with the during the time I was growing up, my mother has no, literally, I would say, no rights to anything. She has no say. Because yeah, in the 80s and 90s, at that generation at least, most of my friends' mothers, like my own mother, were just probably, high school graduates or not. So not really very educated. So where they're completely dependent on their husbands. And of course, when somebody is completely dependent on somebody else, you're vulnerable and you get exploited. So
Yeah.
she had no say in anything. So being the head of the house, man of the house, my father had the final say, like from A to Z, actually.
Oh my
He
God.
had the last say. Yeah, so basically growing up it was just like wanting to be better, and also because it was they created such a competitive pitting me always because of my gender as well as the intelligent, it was very discriminatory. And also I think my mother also was kind of narcissist, I would say, because she is kind of probably my first bully.
Yeah.
um, Very mean personality and things like that. I know, always commenting on how I'm ugly, or I
Oh my
I
gosh.
am, I'm short, and
Yeah.
all these things which you internalize because it's your own parents telling you that you are not, you're dumb, you're
Yeah.
ugly, you're
Yeah.
not good enough. And they're not just saying it, they're showing it in different ways, and they're always shaming you for different things.
They treat you like that, right? They're showing you by their actions and their words. So you
Yes.
can't help but to believe it because these are your parents.
Exactly. And there, what they say is the ultimate truth for you when you are a
Yeah.
child. So
Yeah.
you completely, without any discernment, internalize it and hold that as your truth
Yes.
as a person, as a human being, because before, so it's just very unhealthy, right? So when
Yeah.
you have unhealthy, toxic, narcissistic parents, you
Yep.
have a very unhealthy self-image. You have
Yeah.
a very, you have zero confidence. That's
Yep.
what I had zero confidence until the age of 33. I thought I was ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had all.
Blows my freaking mind because I can tell you're not even wearing makeup and you're so pretty. Your skin is shining. Like your hair, oh, you're so pretty. So I'm so glad that you have burst through this wall. Did your brothers like did all of your family really treat you this way growing up, or was it just your parents really?
My parents, really, but also at the same time, what you have to probably understand culturally is growing up in India, uh, discriminatory behavior on thousands of level is the norm. And I'll give you just a few examples. Gender, right? First is gender. Then every 100 miles you go, the language changes. So there is that discrimination. Then there is intelligence. There is looks. There is a skin color. So paler skin is considered like supreme beauty, even if the person is like not, just as pale, like if they're really pale and they're really like fair complexioned, as they call in India, but they have simple plain features, still they're considered beautiful just because of the skin of the color. And if there is somebody like me who is, medium brown or something, we are considered ugly. And then you,
What?
yeah, and then you put medium, like average facial features, nothing exceptional. You're just like, oh, she's just ugly. It just becomes, and then your body type also,
Oh, of
fat, thin.
course.
So religion and cost. Caste is, again, my parents, I think, did something wonderful here. They have not done too many amazing things or healthy things as parents, but one healthy thing I will give them credit for is until I think I was about 15 years of age, I didn't know what my caste was, which apparently is very huge. I only learned that when I was of like the marrying age. So I didn't know. And the way, because the schooling and everything, my father was in defense, which is like the military and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So you have to have specific schooling for that. There are specific schools for that. So when you go to such schools, which my education was, you just meet people from all over India, and all you're thinking is, oh, she's South Indian, East Indian, West Indian. That's your level of discrimination. But in general population, it starts very, very low. Like caste is your deciding factor. They ask you, hey, what's your caste? Like, it's like nothing. So, and they start discriminating you against it. So yeah, very discriminatory culture. So to answer your question, my parents were part of that culture. They didn't know any better. They probably grew up with even extreme discrimination because they both grew up in smaller towns. I grew up in a cosmopolitan city, Bangalore, where, the further you go to more cosmopolitan places, the further the discrimination lessens with respect to only caste, but not so much other things. So that was one thing that they did well, protected, us for as long as they could. And then,
Okay.
so again, to answer your question, was it everybody? Yeah, I mean, culturally, everybody is discriminating 24 bar
Mm.
7. It's free season.
Holy
So,
crap.
and so, but the problem is, if you're at least, if your parents love you and genuinely say that, don't listen to others, I love you. I
You can
know. Yeah, you can, there could be a filter, you can protect yourself. But when
shield.
it's your,
Yeah.
when your own parents are damaging you, and you go out as a damaged child or a damaged adult, the norm becomes abuse. You're set up
Yeah.
for abuse and exploitation.
Yeah. And it becomes normalized. So then you accept that from anybody.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who they are, which is why you ended up in your marriage.
Yes. And again, in marriages also, as we know, we end up choosing, things that are normal for us, which is basically, if being treated badly is your normal, you go on and choose, people who treat you badly. And
Hmm.
another thing I would like to call out is, my father really tried to marry me off at the age of 19 with an arranged marriage concept, if you know what that
I
is.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Is that common? Is that common in your culture?
Yes, very
Yeah.
common,
Yeah.
very common. It's at least, when I was in my, late teens, and in that generation, it was very common. It was actually the norm.
Okay.
But unfortunately for him, I was a rebellious person, and I actually did not. I chose somebody I wanted to marry, but the choosing factor was unconsciously based on the same patterns that we
Yep.
just
Yep.
spoke. Is
Yep.
when your norm is unhealthiness, you try to find the same unhealthiness in other people, and you
Yep.
think that's love,
Yep.
unfortunately.
Yep. Because it's not your dad. So of course it's not going to be the same thing.
Correct.
So let me ask, because you said that your mom was also one of your biggest bullies. Do
Yeah.
you think that your dad shaped her to be that way? I mean, obviously growing up, but also the influence from your father.
Yes, as we know, we become the average of the five people that we are most spending most time with. And my mother, of course, they both moved away from their respective towns to a bigger city, so they had each other. Like, they were in their company the most. So definitely there is an influence, especially when you are, she herself is exploited on every level as a woman by our own husband. I mean, he's a toxic, dysfunctional, narcissist man. And also, Ashley, just to call out, maybe everybody knows this, but in India, women are completely openly treated like properties.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And a woman, especially, she's the property of the father before marriage, then she becomes the property of the husband and his family. And then, yeah, finally she dies in that house, in supposedly the husband's house. So for her to be, constantly treated like that, of course that's going to rub off on her, because hurt people. But I
Yep.
think I have spent a lot of time even tracing, like, going back to my own mother's behavior independent of my father.
Mhm.
And they're like a group of sisters, like, about six sisters. They're all mean to each other, sisters in general. You would think they're loving and supportive. Yeah, there might be a little bit, like, here and there phases, but I
Because
have.
your family. Family fights.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
But I've seen these set of sisters. They're like each other's enemy. My mom is, I think, the most empathetic one, but each one of them just doesn't like, they're not good. So I think the meanness, she came into it also from her maternal side or from her own mother. It's passed down from her own mother, I think. I did not
She
know
settled for
my grandmother.
something that was similar too.
Sorry, say that again.
So she settled for something that was similar too.
Yes, I mean, she probably didn't have a choice because her
Yeah.
father married her. But yes, um, my grandma actually was treated very well by her husband. So I think my mother's problem was she resents my father because she got to experience the opposite of it, and it was not a
Mhm.
choice.
Yeah.
And of course the meanness and the toxicity, and oh, and she doesn't have any resources, right? No money,
Yep.
nobody to support, or even her own sisters
Mhm.
are there is nobody actually. Like, once she's married, like, nobody was reliable, not her brothers, not her sisters. So she's kind of in this toxic marriage, and the only thing, and a lot of families, what they do, and this is a very common scenario, right? So what they then do is they make their children the proxy husband, the proxy every damn role that is unfulfilled in their lives.
Yep. Yep. And it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate because it's becoming common here to do that, where when you lack in your marriage, you're looking for it, or you're vicariously living through your own children.
And that
Yeah.
is so bad for the
It's
child.
so bad. It's
Yeah.
so bad. And I mean, that in itself is so traumatizing, because then you're trying to please your parents even more, even far into your adulthood. After you have kids, you're still trying to give your parents what they want.
Yeah.
And then your parents are vicariously trying to do that with your grandchildren. I am one of my girlfriends. I've had to pull back being friends with her because we were at the beach one day for her sister's birthday, and she had her own son
Yeah.
in her arms, and she's standing in the water at her waist, so it's, kind of close to his waist, and she's just bobbing in the water. We're all there, and her dad, also unfortunately a narcissist, was sitting there causing a scene at the shoreline, screaming for her to bring her son back in because he's not wearing a life vest.
Right.
I was like, you're gonna let your dad tell you how to raise your own son? What kind of crap is that?
Yeah.
But of course I'm not saying this, but I'm just sitting here going, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
If my dad, man, he'd get a knuckle sandwich for lunch. Let me tell you, my parents knew from the age of 16, like, you don't tell me what to do. You can
Right.
make suggestions,
Right.
but I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it whether you tell me okay or not. That's how I
Yeah.
ended up with a tattoo at 17. Oh God, it's ugly. That was the only thing I was told I couldn't do, and I was like,
Watch
okay.
me do it.
I did. I paid some guy $30, and I laid on his kitchen table like this, and he tattooed me, and I was like, yeah. Man, that next year when I turned 18, I was like, oh no, what did I do? Oh no. And now I pay for really expensive artwork, obviously. Um, so that's just that. See, that just blows my mind that, like, I would have that was new to me. I would have never thought that sisters would be
Yeah.
pinned. I mean, because, like, obviously women can be very catty, and they can be
Yes.
very jealous,
Yeah.
about features or body type or what, friends, boyfriends, whatever. But, like, to hate each other and to pin yourself against them, I can't fathom that.
Growing up, I thought it was a little bit strange, but they would always like make up and stuff, and I stopped keeping up with who is she talking to, who is she
Yeah.
not talking to, so it was just too much. And I moved to US 20 years ago, so, I hardly could keep up with her. But, it really came through for me when I realized that she just treated me like a sister, never like a daughter. She always, once you reach a certain age, I think she has never really known how to be a mother, how to be a parent, and the
Yeah.
only thing she knew was how to be a sister, and she had only mean sisters.
Yeah. Yeah.
All elder, she had mostly elder sisters and one younger, but all of them were meaner than the next one. She actually, among all her sisters, is the kindest one, but she only got, they were only mean treatment, and I think she just treated me like her sisters. And
Yeah.
I was like, why is she? Then I could recognize that she's just treating me like a sister. She's never really ever treated me like a daughter, and she doesn't even
Sure.
know how to.
Yeah.
That part.
Wow. So how long has it been now since you've spoken with your parents?
It's been a year.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken because, again, my mother stopped talking to me, and I was like, fine.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago when she stopped talking to me for some petty reason, and it went for 9 months. But at that time, I used to try to, keep calling her. But this
Yeah.
time around, I was like, she's making a choice. She has to live with it, and I plugged out, and
Yep.
you know, yeah. And with my father, he's very diplomatic. My father, he's manipulative at the same time, very very diplomatic. So he always never says like an ugly or like a confrontational thing. Now, not, I mean, right now, before he's done plenty of that. um, but if I call him, he will talk just
Yeah.
about superficial things, nothing of importance. But then I've decided that it actually does not serve any purpose because my father never puts any effort. And his always last line is, whenever you feel like talking, you can call because, oh, I don't know your schedule. That's just an excuse. But so it's like no effort. And also, I think their biggest problem with me, the reason both of them have chosen to also do this is they want me to just come back to India and be their nurse. And I told them no.
Yeah. Good for you. That's not your job.
It's not my job, and they're rich and they have to figure it out. They're intelligent people, so it's on them. And I chose not to engage in that behavior anymore. And it's been a decade since I've done a lot of inner work. And what it took me, Ashleigh, it took me a decade actually to finally come to a place where I might where I had to accept and just find peace in the fact that my parents are these people. I can love them, but I don't like them, and they have these personality types, and they don't want to do anything about it, which is make it healthy. I tried for all of my life, being a healthy person for them, but it's detrimental to my own health, and
Yeah.
so I think there is a huge amount of jealousy also involved, and that was the hardest thing for me to accept, that my own parents are jealous. And as a parent, when you think of parents, you don't attach jealousy the word. So that was
No.
my like last thing that I had to, like, it dawned upon me, even though it has been there in plain sight all the
All
time.
along. Yeah.
But I think that was the hardest. And once I accepted that, you know what, my own parents are probably most jealous of me because of how I have lived my life. They
Yep.
haven't had the courage or, the resources or whatever choices they have made. And they just want to, like, pull me back. Misery loves company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I said
Yeah.
no. I think my
So
whole life has been about saying no.
yeah. And it's hard, especially with your parents, because I had to do the same thing with my adoptive mom. She adopted me when I was 15.
Okay.
And looking back, I was even talking with my sister about it this morning because she let me know. She goes, "Yeah, my grandma had pictures of you hung up in the hallway." I said, "What? I'm not even a part of your family." I was like, weird. That was weird for me, but
Yeah.
at the same time I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. At least like you got to grow up
Yeah.
knowing who I was. But at the same time, like, how? And she was like, "Yeah, your mom would just like randomly send us pictures." I was like, "That's weird. That's weird." And she only did it like 3 or 4 times, and they were like, it wasn't around birthdays, it wasn't around like holidays. It would just be randomly we would get this picture, and it was random pictures. Like my mom had taken a picture of me laying on the floor with my dog, just like this with my phone. That was one of the pictures that they had in hallway. I said, "Why?"
Yeah.
I was. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I had just taken a flight up to Washington from Arizona, and I was passed out on the floor with my dog. Why was that a picture that she sent? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
What? Um, the little things that they do
Yeah.
for attention or to be like, "See, I'm a parent." Like, what? What?
Yeah.
But the no contact,
Yeah.
that I feel like as a child is a really hard decision to make because you want to love them still for being your birth giver, for doing what they could, even with the little that they had, but you can't allow them to infiltrate your peace. And that's what it is every time they call you. It's like you said, your dad's conversation with you is always superficial. There's
Oh,
no depth. So
there is
what's
no
the
doubt.
point?
It's just
Life is about
lies.
that.
It's just a bunch of lies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and when you realize that, it kind of makes you sad that you have to be the bigger person to be like, I love myself more now. I have to choose me.
Yes. I mean, it's just the cost of authentic living. If you want to live a true life, if you want to be a real, person inside and out, it's just the cost. And, I gave them plenty of time. And there
A
is
decade is plenty of time. That's plenty of time, girl.
And I think, yeah, it's as you mentioned, you even said as a kid, I can't even imagine because, culturally everything plays a part. When I was, I feel like when you compare Eastern culture growing up for me, and I moved here, now I have like half of my life was lived in India, my, first 2 decades, and the next 2 decades I've lived here. So it's literally like 20 years in two countries. And what I have observed is it's so but here, kids are so much more independent, quicker, because they're pushed at age 18. They're off to college and doing things on their own and so many things, right? In Eastern culture, they just keep you. Again, it's called as culture and love and whatnot, but it's just control.
Yeah.
It's just manipulation.
And
And
your
I want to,
property. Your
sorry.
property. Your property over there. Like you're not a free child that we're trying to get ready for the world. We're raising you because you're our property. You're going to take care of us when we're
Yes,
old.
yes. Yes, I was just going to say that if you look at almost all Asian countries, South Asian countries, the main reason they have children is they need a caretaker in their old age. That is why they have children. So
God.
imagine that is why. So for them, I gave birth to you. You're going to do what I tell you to do.
Yep.
And so it's like you're my property. Like,
Yep.
what's shocking for you? What is so shocking for you? They
Like
don't get it. It's
this isn't
unreasonable.
weird. Yeah, like this isn't news to you. Like look around,
Yeah.
right? Oh my God. Yeah, and it's not obviously you see it's not like that here. So to grow up and have it be like that, it's very weird. It was very weird for me to because I said for a long time personally with my relationship with my
Yeah.
narcissist parent, we were best friends, which was weird to me because I wanted somebody to guide me.
Right.
And I remember what broke in my brain was when my mother told me that I had my head in the sand because I told her I'm not a feminist.
Right.
I said, do I, obviously I believe that women need to have rights, duh. Like I'm human,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that I should be paid the same amount as a contractor,
Right.
moving cylinders as
Right.
a man's going to be able to do so much more than me because their body was physically built for that.
Right.
My body's not physically built for that easily. Could I
Right.
get there? Yeah. But I'm still not going to be able to do the same thing as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, that's just never going to happen.
Right.
So, no, I'm not going to be paid the same. They're going to produce so much more. And I remember having that conversation, and the whole ending of it was, well, I can't have this conversation with you because you have your head in the sand. I was like, what? What? That's equality per gender. Like, and it doesn't matter, whichever gender you claim to be, it doesn't really matter. It's just how your body is built.
Yeah. We're
Is
unique. Yeah.
yes. Like, and that really just threw her for a loop. And after that, she didn't talk to me for like months. I was like, what? So I get that, like the petty things where you're like, what? This is, it was just like literally, why can't we disagree? Like,
What was your age when this happened to you?
oh, I was only 19, 20.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That
I
that
was
is
only
so
19, 20. I
harsh.
was really confused because at that time I wasn't the way that I am now where I'm like, what's
Yeah.
wrong with you? I was, oh my God, I said something wrong. Like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, am I supposed to be like on the corner? Like, I don't understand
Yeah.
because I wasn't raised that way. I was very much raised to have a free spirit and to follow my passions and all the things. But I didn't know passions because I didn't get to explore any of them either, which was really confusing. So I definitely understand part of that where, but it wasn't culturally there for me where it was like, but growing up that way and being told you're ugly and stupid and all these things, like 33 years old, what was that like as an adult? You come to America and you have these beliefs for yourself. What was that like for you?
So I came
So,
to America, in my early 20s. Yeah, I got married in India to an Indian, and he was actually working here in US. I had, he was my boyfriend first, and that's the love marriage I had with him, not the arranged marriage. So
yeah.
I chose the person I wanted to be, but of course it was an unhealthy person for me. But that is the reason how I ended up here in US, because we got married and then I came here. I landed in Boston. And when I came here, of course, I was working in India, so it was very like, I was just taking in everything, and I was just like, I just wanted to get a job and be independent because I was financially independent in India. And here I just wanted to continue that. And at that time, my husband was everything for me, right? I was actually, my chief aim in life has always been love. Maybe because I didn't have it as a child. I was from a poor family who had no love,
Yeah.
or it was just toxic, whatever they call love was. So I think I yearned that, and like a lot of people, we look for love in the wrong people and in the wrong places.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
externally, and we are taught this, right? It's conditioning,
Yes.
the movies, everywhere. It's the
Yeah.
same.
Your other half. You have to go find your other half. I'm
Yeah,
like, so not
exactly.
true.
Which is correct. It is not true. No, we are not even taught the right things. So you're corrupted from day one of so many
Yes.
of so many things. So, but I was very happy because I was on top of the world because I had married the person I loved. And I was just happy because I was just in US because he was there. I didn't care about being in America so much. I just wanted to be where he was there, and he was, as a matter of fact, in US, and he wanted to be in US. So I came. I just wanted to get a job and start working and things like that. Long story short, so just a little bit of tad continuing from the culture from India is, as I told you, the property transfer happens from father to husband and his parents. So for some reason, my husband, even though ours was a love marriage, meaning we chose each other, as soon as we got married, it somehow in his mind went back to being an arranged marriage.
Just the same.
Meaning there was abuse started happening from the in-laws, all sorts of stuff, and he was like, it's normal, so why are you complaining? And he wouldn't even trust me when I said things like, your parents are saying all these things. No, I know my parents better than you. They would never say things because his parents are not his in-laws.
Yeah.
So all those things happened, and again it continued to happen. Even though we lived in America, you must think how much could they have really bothered her. But when the son in itself is very close to the parents, and you realize your marriage, you don't have any support from your own husband. He doesn't trust you. He's not supporting you. And in fact, the in laws are actively trying to break your marriage in different ways.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, another thing is marriages in India are public property, they're not private.
What?
Love marriage, any relationship. I think culturally it's so dysfunctional. Like, how, so for example, I'll give you an example. You could meet somebody on the street and be like, hey, what's your name? Which caste are you from? Like,
Yeah.
it's like they get all these details. Oh, was you as a lover? They'll just start asking you all these personal questions as if it's their business. So when somebody gets married too, what happens is, typically, all of my girlfriends, they all had arranged marriages. So the reason I'm calling this out, and I was the only one who had the courage of, going for a
Marrying for
love
love.
marriage. All of them
Yeah.
had boyfriends and girlfriends. A lot of them chose within their community so that they could continue that into, that love into an arranged marriage as well. They had strategies in place. I didn't have any such strategies. My love was not strategized.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What I'm saying is they were probably more aware of the issues. So when they got married, and the norm is, when marriages happen, it's a family business. This is so culturally dysfunctional. um, it's a oh there are even statements like the marriage is between two families, which is total bullshit, because that then um, just legitimizes their interference. So
Yep.
when you get married, then they're just all over. Like, for example, it's so, like, they get into your business and they keep asking your husband all sorts of personal questions about the wife all sorts of questions about everything about the marriage, and they gossip about it, they tell it to the relatives, and this is very common. So everybody knows your marriage. So you don't even stand a chance, I would think, to have a decent marriage.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't physical space, like if I had continued to live in India, I would have to continue living with my in-laws and his brothers, yeah, in the same house. Yeah.
No, no way.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. That's so what? No. So it really is like this whole family ordeal.
Actually, now when I think of that and the person who I am, I just feel like Indians have made a lot of unnatural things as the normal,
Yeah.
and that in itself is very, very destructive to not just every human being. Because when you normalize dysfunctional, toxic, unnatural things, I'm calling it as unnatural. Because tell me,
Totally.
which man is trained and groomed and sent to, like, oh, as soon as you get married you need to go and live in your wife's house, serve her parents, listen to their nonsense, take their abuse, they will decide whether you go and work, they will take the all the salary. I had girlfriends who would go to work and then give all of their salary to their in-laws. They control.
No,
Yes.
dude. Oh my gosh. So that, I mean, because, obviously we talked before this. That kind of leads into your breaking point.
Yes. Yes. So, as you know, I'm experiencing these things. The only thing in retrospect I can say is, because I thought it was a love marriage, I thought I wouldn't be dealing with this unnatural things. But here it had become me alone dealing with this nonsense things constantly. And even though I was in US, I also started realizing I had married a person who was completely, self-obsessed. The only reason I think he loved me or wanted to be with me was I was a good caretaker, like his mother. I would always love him, adore him, do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
So he had a built in caretaker. So basically, the focus was also always him, never me. He never, men in India are never taught that you have to take care of somebody else. What they are taught is everybody around you, you are so great because you are born as a man. Everybody around you is here to serve you, your mother, your sisters, your wife, your children. Everybody is here to serve you. So I won't blame him because he was conditioned like that, right? And so what happened was, when you come to US, here it's just like you have to do so many things. In
Yeah.
India, the normal is to have servants, to have help. There are so many things. And in America, everything is DIY. So then you start
Yep.
feeling the lack of support. And then what happened was, I had a family crisis very quickly in the first year of marriage. That is when I saw his true colors come through, because I was completely alone in the marriage. I realized that this person is not there for me emotionally, and especially when it's a love marriage, you at least think you have this person emotionally.
Yes. Your friend. It's supposed to be a friend at least, at the bare
Exactly.
minimum,
Oh,
right?
was he was my enemy. So then what happened was, very quickly 4 years of marriage got disintegrated, because every year I saw that first year, no emotional support, no mental support, no physical support, no financial support. And then he started like doing all sorts of things, like hiding money from me and things like that. Yeah, so he, and also like he was happy for me to keep working and just take it easy, like there was all sorts of things which shouldn't be happening in a marriage. That is like, you're partners. So then I thought, after 4 years, I was like, yeah, I'm out. And
Yep.
for me, the thing was, I can't live a lie. And you can live a lie only for so long. But the
Hmm.
more difficult it got, especially, I think it really pushed me in a corner, because a family crisis in my family with my parents and brother had broken in India, which completely destroyed me emotionally. And I was like depleted. I literally was in survival mode. By the age 31, I was separated. I got divorced. I filed for divorce. Um, and then I divorced, and that was not the final nail in the coffin. So what happened was, after my divorce, you have to understand, I was not conscious at the time. I didn't know. I was just operating on autopilot, right? But it was so painful. The challenges I was facing in life with my family were so big, so painful,
Yeah.
that I was unable to function properly as a human being. And you're in a foreign country, you have no friends, you have no family, you're just talking to your family over phone, you have no husband who's supposed to be your everything, and especially in a foreign country. Then I got really isolated, and especially after divorce. And as an Indian woman, which I very much was with that conditioning and programming,
Yeah.
I thought it was end of my life. Like, I remember very vividly thinking, oh, in India, women are alone when their husband dies. In my case, I divorced him, but I'm still the same. I'm gonna lead the rest of my life like a widow, but only not a widow in reality. That was
Yeah.
how strong my justification was. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And after that, what happened was, the next year, the following year or something, I was in a situation where I dated somebody, and then it was very casual, but I ended up getting pregnant.
Yeah.
And then again, same situation, nothing has changed. It was a casual situation. So I found myself in a really hard spot. And I took a practical, logical situation. My career was thriving. I was at the top of my game in financial tech career. I was doing really well. Career was the only thing that I was doing well at, and it was
Yeah.
really critical because you know um, money is everything. Because money gave me freedom, the choices. As an Indian woman, money gave me all those things. Because there was no support when I divorced. I did not tell a single person in the whole wide world that I was filing for divorce, because nobody gave a shit about me. Not my
Yeah.
parents. They had all like, and my
It's fun.
friends were so like alien. It was like alien, because I feel I was so radical in my thinking, in my thought process. All my so-called Indian friends, they couldn't even understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing this. I
Yeah.
remember one friend said, as long as your husband is not cheating or is not beating you or he's an alcoholic, you shouldn't even be thinking about divorce. And I stopped talking to
So
that person.
sad. That's so sad.
So instead
God.
of, I did reach out to friend, but the only thing was I was getting like this very like, I'm like, who even thinks like
Like
that?
you're in the wrong. Like you're in the wrong, essentially, is how they made it seem.
Yes. And also, to be honest, I've always been weird, radical, an
The
outlier.
black sheep.
Sorry?
You're just black. You're the black sheep of
I'm the black
the
sheep, but I
culture.
just didn't know I was the black sheep. I was just paying the price for it, and I was suffering and in pain. But the beauty is, I was willing to pay the price because that meant I could go to bed, peacefully. And I told myself when I filed for divorce that I would rather be alone and sad than be alone and sad with somebody in a marriage. And it's abusive as well, right? You have to deal with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so especially when I got pregnant, I was like, the situation hasn't changed much. I'm on my own, and of course, I didn't have the resources or anything to do anything more with it. And surprisingly, I had never even given it two thoughts, like ever thought about that whole path of motherhood or anything. It had never crossed my mind, because I was not in a ever that stage where I had even spoken, even with my ex-husband, about, oh, should we have children? Like, we had never gotten to that stage.
Yeah.
Our marriage broke down in 3 years after marriage, so we had never gotten there. So suddenly to find myself in a place where, like, what am I
Yeah.
going to do now? But then, the only practical solution was to have an abortion. And I did that. Again, didn't tell a single soul. I had a couple of colleagues who were also semi-friendly, but I wouldn't call them, totally, you don't want to discuss too personal of a thing with co-workers.
Yeah.
And it got really, the decision was practical, yes, right decision. And based on my circumstance also, it was the right decision. But after that, and the aftermath of it emotionally was very difficult on me. I started spiraling into depression very quickly. And also, you have to understand, it was not just one event, right? It was just like the last
Multitude. everything stacked up on it. And then the emotions hit you because it sounds like for a really long time you were just disassociated. You were like, I'm just here, I'm working, I'm having
Yeah.
fun, no emotions, just moving forward, not focused on anything. So when it came to this situation, you were like, same thing, moving forward, we're just going to keep going. And then unfortunately, women's bodies, the hormones don't let that happen. They're like, sit down. You're going to sit down. And then you're like, but I don't know how.
You know, I had lived all my life in misery, suffering, and pain. So that was not like new for me. It had become my normal. But this one, deep depression, like just spiraling into a really dark place where then I was like, you know what? I've had it. I have nobody in my corner. I have
Yep.
nobody who loves me. Nobody wants to talk to me. So it was just, all the initial childhood, no self worth, no confidence. And also, just for being who I am, I had paid a really, really big price.
Yeah.
The big price was loss of family, loss of friends, loss of sibling relationships, loss of everything. But I had still paid that price to be me.
Yeah.
And then it was like this twister, right? Like I was happy. I was like, you know what? I don't need anybody. I'm going to just live my life.
Doing her thing. Yeah.
I have a great career. I live in America. I'm going to travel the world. I actually went for a Europe trip, which was already planned, but was very depressed and very suicidal during that time. I started thinking about suicide and I was just waiting to execute it. I remember as soon as I turned 33, I wanted to execute it. I had my plan ready. And then that's when something shifted. That week when I wanted to kill myself, I was having a conversation with a friend. He said something that triggered, like he said, like, "Oh, don't talk to me about all these spiritual things." I, if anything, was a religious person. I had, converted to Christianity. Explored that religion a little bit, but the word spirituality didn't exist in my dictionary at the time. So I was really like, why is he saying, what does this word even mean? So anyway, that kind of triggered something in me. And then what happened in the next couple of days was something shifted. And then I started feeling like this, how I was telling you, I was emotionally feeling very dark and heavy because of the aftermath of the abortion. But for some reason, I started feeling very light, very just very light. For no reason, I was happy, and the voice in my head was, "What are you doing? It's time to kill yourself. Come on now. We decided, we have the plan ready. Let's go." And for some reason, I started feeling emotionally the extreme opposite of it. And then one evening when I was at home, I had this sensation all over my body, and I started itching my head and everything. And I ran to the bathroom. I was just like, I wanted to look at myself and just splash some water on my face. And then I stood there looking at myself in the bathroom. And then, actually, I don't know what happened. As I was looking, everything else disappeared. And all I could see was just like nothing. Like it's always like what was staring back from the mirror was something beyond me. The voice in my head stopped. It was pure silence. And then it was nothing. Like for years, the critical voice, and especially it had become executioner style, right? Okay, let's
Yeah.
take you to the final
Let's go.
stage now.
Yep.
And nothing.
Gone. Just
I'm
quiet.
It's just quiet. There's nothing. It's just quiet. And I'm looking at myself and I don't see myself. I see myself, but I don't see myself. And then there was a disconnect, meaning there was no voice. So there was a disconnect there. There was no, like, there was a body, but I could sense that this is not my body. What is it seeing the body? Like I felt like there was something else looking at the body, like the reflection. So I felt disconnected from my body. And then I just like looked around my bathroom because the shower curtain, everything was on the right side. And I just like looked around, and this white, the bathroom light had just merged with all the other things in my bathroom, the wall, the shower curtain, everything just became like really like wavy, and it's like very pastel shades of light, shimmering light. It was just like just like shimmering light everywhere, and I really lost it after that. Because and then I looked at myself in the mirror, and there was just like this burst of fountain like in my heart, and I was just feeling the I realized that the reason for why I was feeling light was, you know how I had the critical voice telling me to kill myself. I didn't have a voice, but it was almost like an experience that you're loved, you know, you are just loved for who you are. And also the thing was, the reason there was one thought process that had taken me to the suicide path was, you're not a good daughter, you're not a good sister, you're not a good wife, you're not a good girlfriend, you're not a good mother, which I didn't even know I cared about. So, what are you? Who are you? You're not even fit to be a mother.
Mhm.
So, if you're none of these things, what are you even doing here? And that's why I wanted to kill myself. And
Yeah.
only after I disconnected from all these labels, the feeling told me, you're none of those things.
Mm.
You are, you know, you are just the soul. Like, I don't even know. Of course, I didn't, you know, nobody told me that word, but I could see that I am none of these labels. I am something from beyond who I just remembered that I'm wearing this body because I disconnected from my body. I realized that, oh, I'm wearing this body like this dress I'm wearing. And sure
Yeah.
enough, I'm gonna discard this, pull on my next pink dress, and go live another adventure. So I was like, then this light thing, which it was had me stunned, also kind of balanced out. And then I remembered this, and then I laughed, Ashley. I
Yes.
actually fell down to my bathroom floor, and I laughed and laughed and laughed because I got the bloody joke now.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think the trance had finally ended, of how we were so disconnected to all of these things, how I was so, and then the disconnection had happened. And then I
Yeah.
realized, and from that moment onwards, I just but I still wanted to, you know, because I was feeling so light. And that, if in one word I had to describe the experience, it was an experience, it was a feeling of unconditional love from the creator herself, embracing me and saying that, oh honey, you are none of these things, you are just part of me, you're here for a little while, and then you will be back to where you belong. You are none
Mhm.
of these bloody labels. Your
Yeah.
worth isn't decided by all these useless people who don't
Yeah.
even know what's what. You
Yeah.
belong to me, honey, and one day you will be back in my arms. And then I felt like, you know, unconditional love, you know, that embrace and that fountain open up in my heart. And here I was very itchy here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Scratching, and I was feeling itchy. I felt like, you know, my skin was peeling off. But basically, I felt like a fountain had burst open. And then that was pretty much it. But because it was such a crazy experience, because the reason I'm using crazy is, I was about to take the razors and slit my, you know, veins open, and now I'm feeling like this.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to talk to somebody, like, and because I'm living on my own, I thought if I was really having a psychotic break or something, I need to call myself and admit myself or something. Then
Yeah.
I basically tried to call a friend, coworker. I said, "Do you
Mhm.
know anybody who's spiritual?" Because you know this other friend had given me some spiritual, so I thought maybe if I speak to somebody spiritual, she's like, "I don't know any spiritual people." I'm like, "Okay, fine." Then I went to Google, my best friend, and I said, spiritual something, right? Spiritual
Yeah.
what? As soon as I typed spiritual, so many options started coming. And I pulled up these videos, and people are talking about all sorts of, I had a Kundalini awakening, and this and that, all crazy. I don't know what was happening to me, but I knew I had to talk to somebody because is this the beginning of something, or you know what is happening? I was very
Yeah.
like it was very crazy for me. So I Googled helpline in Google, and
Hmm.
ACISTE, American Center for Spiritually Transformative Experiences. There was a helpline. It's a non-profit, and a helpline number came up. I called them, and it went to voicemail. But very quickly, and I was so restless because I was exploding with great feelings, great
Yeah.
emotion.
Yeah.
I felt like I'll just burst open with love, and that was okay
Yeah.
with me. That's a good way to die. But I
Yeah.
was so good. I was like so like I was just,
Elated. You were like elated at this point, just completely elated.
and that was what was scaring me because I was in the dumps just an hour
A
ago.
second.
Yeah,
Manic. Probably felt really manic. Like, is this like a complete manic episode before like everything's supposed to happen? Or
see, the funny thing is, I don't even know all these words. That is how ignorant I was. I don't know. I don't even, just like how I didn't know the word spiritual, I didn't know the word manic. I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
all
yeah,
these things. So I knew it was just like very extreme experience. So then,
yeah.
45 minutes, I get a call, and this lady is like, "Hi, you left a voicemail." I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "What's going on?" And I literally like so happy that somebody called me. I like literally verbally was just like threw up on her, and I said, "This is what I'm going through. I don't know what's happening." Blah 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 for about 45 minutes, and then I asked her like very very curiously, "Am I going mad?" And she's like, "No, sweetie, you're having an awakening. Welcome." Like, just like very welcoming about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And then she spoke to me for a little bit, and then she quickly realized this girl has nobody here to kind of support her because everybody's awakening is very different, and
Oh, yeah.
the support that we need is very different. But thankfully, in my case, I was an immigrant living in US, working a job, and the job is what the visa that I have with the job is what keeps me in US. I can't just quit my job and be like, "Oh, I'll take some time off of work." No. But thankfully for me, by grace, by that graceful experience, and by God, God's grace, she allowed me that mine was such a blissful, like, just like a very, as you said, elated experience. All I had to do was keep my elation to, like, just normal, just be smiling at work and come back and just be, more smiling. So it was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
very easy adjustment for me. But I was just elated for like, blissed out for a year, I think. And thankfully, for Elizabeth Rose, she decided she would check in on me every, week or so, just to make sure I'm okay, I'm, eating well and everything. I didn't really have any, like, because she has a lot of experience dealing with various kinds of spiritual experience. But in my case, all she had to do was talk to me, make me, give me some company, and, so it was very nice, and I was blissed out for almost like a year and a half. And in that year and a half, even though she did verify what happened to me, I just roamed the world. I told the universe, bring me all the people that can help me understand and put me on the right path after this experience. I got so many online books come to me, because not people, yeah, Osho's
yeah.
books came to me. They just gravitate, synchronicity. We speak about
Yes, synchronous.
synchronicities.
Yeah, totally.
Osho's book came to me. All these other books came to me. This, randomly, because I didn't have community. I didn't have anything. And even assist, there was a community, but there was not like the kind of energetically. It was not a match for me.
Yeah,
So it was, but you know what? I was on such high energy levels. I started magnetizing people and things into my own life. That's how much powerful unconditional love, grace, and joy, when it got activated.
it's that highest frequency. It's
Yes.
the highest frequency is love,
Yeah.
and that's how it works. Is when you can bring yourself to that, you do become completely magnetic, and it's what's aligned for you.
Yeah.
That's the cool part. Is it's all that's aligned for you because you opened up to it.
Yes, and that one year I wasn't even looking because so many things came to me. Like,
Hmm.
I got, the Seth books, the Osho books, so many books because I'm a
I love Osho.
yeah.
Osho is the
So when
shit.
you read, it's like talking to your best friend, and he's explaining stuff, and like, there you go. I mean,
You're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't need any more validation after that, and I was just like probably in the first year. I think I went to India a year later, and I went to just a spiritual, a small 2 day course to get some tools like daily meditation or practices. But there is where the teacher, I wanted to talk to him. He was a German psychoanalyst who had left his life in Germany and now lived in India as an Indian spiritual teacher, like the lineage I'm talking. He had
Yeah.
changed his name to an Indian name. So I go there. I don't know his background. I just want to talk to the teacher because I wanted to talk to somebody in person. Beth
Yeah.
was online in Kansas. I really wanted to talk to somebody, in person. And
Yeah.
he was so like, yeah, come to me later. Like he didn't entertain me. And late, he made me wait for almost like a month. And then I went to his office. And then the first thing he did was he looked into my eye and he's like, "Why do you want to talk to me?" I said, "I had this experience, blah blah blah," like two minute thing. And he
Yeah.
looked deeply into my eyes and he's like, "You're fine. Just go live your life." And then I said, "Can I talk to you a little bit more?" Then he had me in his office 3 weeks later. I'm in Bangalore. And there he was a little bit softer. I think it's like a strategy for them to, like, otherwise, too many people probably come to them. I don't
Yeah.
know. But then when I went to his office, then he gave me space for more elaborate sharing. 4 hours. I was going to meet him for half an hour, but he generously gave me 4 to 5 hours of his unscheduled time. And then he
Wow.
listened and he validated and he verified and he's like, go live your life, however you want, just intentional living. That's all you got to do now. He didn't
Yeah.
use any big words, and I didn't need any big words. Once the experience is done, you don't really need anything else.
No.
So that was pretty much it about my spiritual awakening, like, kind of. And again, there are so many now, after a decade of being awake, I know there are so many labels to that experience.
Yeah.
I don't cater to anybody, I mean, anything or anybody as such. I just say that if you ask me, it was an experience of unconditional love and grace for me. I woke up,
You
definitely
woke up.
from yawns of sleeping.
Yep.
Yeah. To our
You
true
woke up.
nature, waking up to our true nature,
Yeah.
realizing our true nature. Because so many people know about their true nature, but they don't know their true nature, which is the
Yeah.
experience itself.
It's like observing. Like I know
Yeah.
it's here, but I haven't stepped into it and embraced it. And I think in that moment you embraced it. And you were embraced at the same time.
Yes, yes,
That's the
that
cool
is
thing.
beautifully put, Ashleigh. Thank you for that. You're right. I think, grace is ever present. God, she's
Yeah.
just waiting. She's ever present to, like,
Mm-hmm.
she's just waiting. And you're right,
Yeah.
she's just waiting to embrace you, but you have
That's it.
to come.
Yeah. It's when you're ready though. It's never forceful. It's never rushed. It's
Yeah.
always on time. It's always in the moments you're not sitting here yearning and searching. It's those moments when you're like, just like you said, just utter silence and then complete bliss. Like that's when you step into that. That's when you get embraced. That's so beautiful.
And actually, you are right, and that is a beautiful observation, right? That the silence happened. But you know how I would say that, the same thing, how I would say as a layman, because I still consider myself very, very basic, because my experience was so basic and so layman. I don't have fancy words. I would say I was so full of other people and outside noise. It's like being in a house just full of outside strange people, lots of external noises, and then you clean house. You have to start cleaning
Yep.
house.
Yep. Yep.
Because how I was completely isolated. I felt like now I was in the house, in my house. I was
Yeah.
alone. I had cleaned all the people out. I had cleaned everything. I was detached and I was empty.
Yes.
And that's
Yep.
when the
You
God.
made the space though. You made the space.
And that is the journey which you clearly said, because people will be like, the you have to put that effort. You have to make yourself available. If the cup is already full, what are you going to pour into it?
Yes. Yeah, and I see those analogies all the time where people have a really dirty cup, right? And then they start pouring the water in it. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the thing is that's not technically how that works. You have to clean your cup because no matter how much clean water you put in that cup, the bacteria is still all over the cup.
Yeah.
You have to dump it.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
clean it, and then you can pour the water in. And I think that the analogy that people are using is it's a great start
Yeah,
to
yeah.
realize that your cup is dirty, but instead of pouring into yourself while also having all this dirty stuff on this side, it's just counterintuitive. You're spending more time waiting for you to filter it out rather than just kicking it out.
You know,
Being done,
that's
choosing to be done, right?
that's
Choosing
a
not to entertain the dirt. Choosing, and you
That's
did that.
very interesting perspective, because I agree with you, because I had never really thought about it like that. I know exactly which video you're talking
You
about.
know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
But you're right though. I agree with you. The reason being, at least in this case,
Yeah.
you can be full of it. And it's the
Yep.
same thing. You can know all about it. You can be full of it. You can be and I have met so many people in the last decade, and I'll keep my mouth shut, right? I'll
Of
just keep my
course.
mouth shut and I'll just observe people. People are preaching, people are referring, oh, in this thing it is said, in that thing it is said. And I'm so able to easily say that, yeah, this person knows about it and they're
Yeah.
so full of it, right? That
Yeah.
is the knowledge. Like, how you're
Yep.
saying, you can keep
Yep.
pouring and you'll be so full of it. But you know
Yep.
what? That is not your experience. Your
Nope.
experience will be when you are empty,
Yep.
and then the source fills you.
Well,
First
yeah.
experience. That's what you
Yep.
need. Until
Yep.
then, do
It's
the
because
work.
the thing is you can take all that time to pour that clean water into the dirty water, wait for it to filter out. But with that bacteria, it still leaves room to grow all over again. You have to completely and utterly clean everything. Exactly like you said, you cleaned the house. You cleaned the house and you prepared
Yeah,
for the entrance
yeah.
of this divine, experience.
Yeah, and you look at it, right? Like everybody generally, how everybody know that, oh, it's healthy to eat fruits and vegetable. This line is so common as well, where everybody hears, oh, I am just the messenger, right? I am just the messenger of God. But you have to pay attention. Even those people who say that, they probably don't understand it. You have to be empty for God
Yes.
to work through you. And when will that
Yes.
happen? Only when you're empty, only when you're out of your own way. And
Mm-hmm.
God can take over.
Yes. Yeah, you said that so beautifully. When you get out of your own way, because we are the only ones that put these limitations on ourselves. We have all the external growing up, right? Like
Yeah.
you had your parents, you had all these people just shitting on you. But then when you got out of the way, when you stopped trying to be like, okay, well, I'm going to end my life. This is me controlling the
Yeah.
situation still. I'm going to end my life. And then you realize that, okay, maybe not, because now it's quiet. Now that I don't have this external thing
Yeah.
telling me this, I realize that's not what I want.
Yeah.
That's what external wanted me to do all my
Yeah.
life. But now that I realize that that's not me, then boom,
Yeah.
you were embraced in that moment.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Holy crap. What a life. What a life.
Yes.
Holy shit. Because you were married to your parents, right? Let's just say that you
Yeah.
were married to your parents, and then you were married, and even in America here, being married and still having those Indian traditions, that would have been so freaking hard.
Yeah.
Because you're not even observing what you are experiencing. It's not common. You're not observing it like this is normal. You're like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So what? And then that's probably why you disassociate and check out. And you're like, you know what? Everybody here is just focused on, because everybody in America is just focused on working.
Work.
So I'm just gonna do that, right? I have my own money. It's fine. But the thing is when it's the energy inside of your home, you cleaned that and you made the space.
Yeah. See, my chief aim in this lifetime, if I had to just summarize, my chief aim was always love.
Yeah.
And yes, I was looking for love in the wrong places, but it did lead me to a place where I found it, where it
Yes.
was really hidden, which is
Yeah.
within ourselves.
Yes.
which is where in our hearts is where God resides. She is waiting for us there. So it did lead me there.
Yeah.
And I've always been a very radical, true, honest person, and I
Yeah.
have paid the high, steep price to be me, and I
Yes.
totally embrace it because I think, to talk from a layman's perspective, when we don't know any better, it is only courage to be ourselves, which will kind of lead us to the path of, from away from the crowd, and it will
Yeah.
lead us to authentic living.
Yeah.
Initially, we
Yeah.
don't think like that. Even authenticity was not a term I used 10 years ago. I just
Yeah.
knew, because everybody calls you a rebel, you're the weird one, you're the troublemaker.
When you're outside of the
Peace, right?
average Joe, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just, so on a layman's, to be very basic again, you just have to have the courage to do your own thing, live your
Yes.
own truth, and be the same person inside and out. I really believe that because you get tired when you're performing, when you're with around people with where you have to just do out of things out of obligation, like Indian marriages, Indian, all these toxic.
Exhausting.
It's constant just management of performance. Oh, I'm
Yep.
supposed to say this. There is no space for you to exist. And I'll be honest with you. Again, I can only talk of my experience 20 years ago, but I don't know how India is today. But a lot of culture is, I'm guessing, it's pretty much the same. Um, uh, yeah, very toxic, very dysfunctional, very discriminatory as well.
Yeah. It's really crazy that you mentioned, I know we're going on like an hour and 11 minutes, but you had mentioned, property, your property, your,
Yeah.
I have had that thought for a long time. I've been married twice. And I will not do it a third time. I would love to have a wedding someday because I've been married twice and I've never had a wedding. Never worn a wedding dress.
You
I've
deserve
bought my own
you
ring.
deserve the wedding just so that you can plan a dream wedding.
Yes, because I want that.
Get that
I want to wear
Pinterest
the big
board
gown and
started.
have the view and send out the invites and stuff. It was never like that. And with my first marriage, he was in the military.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here on my end going, this is my best friend. We've known each other for 7 years. He's been there for, he knows what I've been through with men. He knows how I want to be treated. You know, no, girl. When he got back from deployment, we got married. We went back home and he started playing video games. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then he stopped cooking for me. He wouldn't let my dogs near him. I was like, that's a problem. Those are my kids. Those are my kids, dude.
Yeah.
And I bought one of those kids for you.
Yeah.
Because you were pissed that I had my own.
Yeah.
So then I got you one. And I still have her. I took her. I was like, you're not keeping her.
Yeah.
She's my dog now. And it felt that way. Because when we filed for divorce, because he was in the military,
Yeah.
you have to go through the military. And
Okay.
in North Carolina, you have to be separated for an entire year before you can actually get divorced.
Okay.
And he was paid to be married to me for that entire freaking year. And I didn't see a dime of it, clearly. And in that moment, that's when I was like, there's something wrong with this.
Yeah.
Why are you getting paid when I'm not even with you? That doesn't make any freaking sense.
Right.
So you're literally benefiting off of my existence in your life, and that's it. You couldn't care less if I was dead or alive. If I died, like, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
And then with the second marriage, same thing. It was so hard to get divorced. And I realized in a moment, changing my name and doing all this, like, I'm still just a piece of property to you.
Yeah.
Because you threatened divorce for an entire year, not thinking I was ever going to go anywhere, because I didn't for a whole year.
Yeah.
So 100%, I think that that's still practiced here. It's just, it's the underwriting of the contract. You know what I'm saying? It's the hidden addendum that you don't understand about marriage, because the government has a say of whether you get to get divorced or not. What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean you can deny my divorce? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And, yeah.
But it's different here. It's practiced differently here.
If you look at it, Ashley, women all over the world, I have spoken to so many people from so many cultures. Women in the past, if you look at the history, all over the world, were traded in wars, We were
Yes.
always being traded. We always were properties. We are. And even now, the treatment, it is like that. And, I will tell you, I was also married the second time. And I walked away from the second marriage as well because um, it was very similar. This was an American person, and not that I had anything against. I just wanted to be with somebody who is conscious, who treats me like an equal. So,
Yeah.
and I think coming from India, where gender itself is like, oh, women are here and men are here. With an American, at least it was here, right? And
Yes.
then there was other things. Initially, of course, I loved the person, but again, I am so open, I am so accepting, and I was conscious, and I'm loving of all. What do you say? Not religions, but the crux of the message in every religion. This person, I didn't realize, even though he had shared that he had left his Christian denomination. See, but I'm not a person who grew up in India who knows all the interior dynamics of Christian denominations very well. How strong some of them could be, how cultish some of
How
them would
deep
be.
seated. They're deep. They get deep seated.
So it took me, I think, afterwards, and this was during COVID, and I really coming after a first marriage, and I just really wanted to play it safe with my second marriage, like date the person for a long time. But COVID happened, which really expedited things, because we were a little bit further. So moved in quickly, and then kind of he proposed to me very quickly, all within a year, though it was not ideal, but the world was ending, or so we thought. So we were like, oh, what the hell,
Okay.
we'll get, yeah, fuck it, let's get married. And it was fine, first couple of years. But the third year, it's when the masks start coming off. And in my case, both my marriages, 3 years to complete total destruction. uh,
Mine was 3 years too.
yeah, so there you go.
They just can't hold on that long.
Yeah.
It's too, because narcissists don't know who they are, so they adopt whoever's around them, and they take on their personality, and then they can only be somebody else for so
So
long.
long, the masks will fade away, then the curtain will fall. The third year, I think, when the masks started falling, just like very similar. See, I wasn't very used to all this addictive behaviors. It wasn't really active in my life or people whom I knew, but there was a
Yeah.
lot of addictive. And I guess maybe, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk about one religion, but if
No, sure.
sexuality is repressed, if
Yep.
a lot of things are called as sin and such things, so you go into repression, and the more you repress, the more deeper the roots go. So the third year, a lot of this addictive behavior started showing up. And I wanted him to work on it, and of course he wouldn't. And then soon enough, just like, how do you
Inevitable.
take down any strong woman? You hurt her where it hurts most. So he betrayed my trust, and I found him on multiple dating apps while I was grieving the loss of a loved one. I was in a
Yeah.
grieving state. That's
Yeah.
when I found him on multiple dating apps, and that was the last straw for me.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
I happily walked away. And trust me, none of these guys, I have a saying in my life, or an observation. I don't start anything, but I think I have a pattern of like finishing what people
Yeah.
start, and they don't want to finish it. They want
No,
to stay in it.
nobody does.
Yeah, but
I'm that same way. I'm that same way where I'm like,
I walked
I
away
know
from
when to
my
say no.
I know my worth. I walked away from my first marriage. I knew my worth even better in my second marriage, so it was very quicker and not a lot of time wait. He was very, all his cult programming came out, very abusiveness came out when he got caught red-handed, and that's
Oh
when
yeah.
I actually knew how much cult psychology was at play.
Yeah.
Because I went
Yeah.
to a because I got really, because the psychological war started on me because I caught him, and then
Yep.
I kicked him out of the house, and then I went to a trauma specialist, and she helped me. It is really important to go for specialized help, not a generalized therapy help, specialized help.
Yep.
And it really helped. And but that is when I walked away for the second time from very, and you can't guarantee these things. You can't think
No,
this person is going to cheat on me 3 years down the lane. You can't
no,
tell that because if
no.
you have that in your mind, you're never going to love somebody. Or
Yep,
at least
yep.
you can't marry somebody with that doubt, you know?
That's why I don't like marriage anymore.
Yes.
Because here's the thing, to
Yeah.
me, and this is again just based off of my experience, which you may
Yeah.
agree with, where it's like, A, I don't want to strip my freedom, nor do I want to strip you of yours. If I find that out, I just want to be like, hey, you know what? Go.
Yeah.
Go. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not, no hard feelings, dog. Like, I don't want to touch that no
Yeah.
more, though. Like, you need to take that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Gross. But also, I feel like on his end,
Yeah.
right? Marriage is so hard. It's so expensive. Divorce is so expensive. If I can just do this on the down low, why wouldn't I? Right? And the
Exactly.
thing is, you have to think that way
Yeah.
because we've made the alternative so difficult when it comes to marriage. So if divorce was so easy, we wouldn't have all of this happening. And then we wouldn't have the resentment grow. And then the kids wouldn't have to get involved and blah, 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 blah. Like, if you just didn't get married, it means more to me that you have the choice
Yeah.
to leave at any point, but you wake up and you still come back to me.
Yeah.
You still choose that. And at any point, if you didn't want to choose it, it's so easy to be like, okay, dude, no hard feelings. Am I going to be sad? Yeah, probably, but I'll get over it. Go be happy, please. That's all I want for you, and that's all I want for me.
Yeah.
That's it. So go. Like, I wish that was more common, you know?
Yeah.
I
And
really,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's not easy to talk about these things because it requires you to be vulnerable, and especially when somebody nobody gets married thinking I will divorce him one day, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gets married like that, and when we do, and then it doesn't work out, and especially we do it the second time, nobody wants to do it the second time, but we have done like the time between my first marriage and my second marriage was 7 years, so I didn't really like jump or anything. Like I took my
I
own.
did. I
I
went from
actually.
one to the next. I did. I went from one to. I didn't learn my lesson the first one at all. At all. I was like, okay, well, you love me. This person doesn't. Let's do this. Like, I got divorced and then I got married right because we had to be separated for an entire year. So I was with this other person
Right.
for an entire year.
Right.
And then
Right.
at that year mark, he was like, let's get married. I was like, okay, you're choosing me. That's great. You're choosing me. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Dodo.
but it's different, right? It's different
Yeah.
circumstances. It's different. Like COVID hasn't cornered me a little bit and made me think the world was ending. I probably would have wanted to, date a little bit longer
Live
for a couple of
together
years.
for a while before freaking getting married.
Yeah, I was in no hurry, and especially, as we spoke earlier, I wasn't looking for love in anybody else. I had found it in myself, and it would have been nice to have a companion to
Yeah.
experience love. That's all I was looking for, a companion. But you can never, again, somebody could look at, people like somebody could look at me and say, oh, she's been divorced twice. But what they don't know is I have walked away twice from dysfunctional marriages. I have not been divorced. I have walked away twice from two.
Walked away.
Yeah, I walked away from toxic people. And also, the thing is, there are no guarantees with life, with love. There are no guarantees. You don't think my husband is going to, especially when he's completely obsessed with you, you don't think, oh, 3 years down the lane, I'll find him on multiple dating apps.
Blows my mind.
Chatting with multiple women. God only knows how long he was doing it, but I found out. And it's the lowest time of my life. So
Yeah.
life happens, and the only thing is how you show up and deal with it. That's it.
Yeah.
And that helps. All the inner work helps. It
Oh
helped
my
me
God.
greatly. Yeah, my
Yep.
spiritual awakening and all my inner work, and knowing that, this too shall pass, and whatever is happening for the highest good,
Yep.
kept me going.
And that's the thing is when you can go on your journey, right? And you can start that healing and you really turn inward and you start asking questions and you start to let go. At least in my experience, I look at these people
Yeah.
with nothing but love.
Yeah.
I look at my ex-husband, and even though he did abuse me, I mean, I had to go through, like, I had to heal physical abuse. I had to, like, actually
Wow.
remove physical abuse from my body.
Yeah.
But I settled for that because that was in my childhood, my whole
Right.
childhood. So,
Right.
but now I look in my childhood and I look at him and I have nothing but love
Yeah.
because I am now my highest and best self.
Yeah.
I had to go through that.
Yes.
I had to hit rock bottom.
Yes. Yeah.
And I too almost had to commit suicide, where it was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? For me, it was different, where I sat down and I was ready
Yeah.
with my little bottle of sleeping pills. We're
Yes.
like ready to just down the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm worthless. Nobody loves me, but you know the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember my ex-husband said, just do it already. And I was like, what? Like, what? And something woke up in me where I was like, you're not going to tell me what to do.
I am so sorry, Ashleigh.
Oh, I'm not anymore, because now with all of these experiences I've been through, that's why I'm a trauma coach, because I can understand humanity
Yeah.
at such a deep level that a lot of people can't, because they don't bounce back the way that we do.
Yeah.
I was able to bounce back on my own,
Yeah.
and I was able to have that strength that a lot of people don't. And so now I can go, oh, I've been there. Oh, girl, I've been there. But you know what's cool is you do get to bounce back, because this strength, it's not from me, it's from higher entity. Guess what? You are connected to higher
Yeah.
entity. They're connected to higher entity. So what I have, you get to have, and I'm going to give it to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't have to look any further. I'm just going to give it to you because I have that ability.
Yeah.
And now you're doing that too.
Yeah.
And you did that when you shared your memoir.
Yes, yes. As we spoke, I have always wanted to write about that night's story and everything that led up, because from a very basic level, right? As I told you, very layman language. Because in today's world, what I understood was there were a lot of stories where people have amazing experiences in in different spiritual settings,
Yeah.
maybe. But I thought,
Mhm.
okay, maybe my story has a place other people need to hear. We live in an age where isolation is high, dysfunction is high, toxicity is high, people are dying, people are, taking their own lives every other day. Suicide level is really high. And, you know, in that mud, a lotus blossoms.
Yes.
You don't always have to have a guru and always
Yep.
have to meditate, and we probably have done that for other lifetimes.
Yeah.
But if this is the flavor of my awakening, which is like out of trauma, self abandonment and all that, if the lotus has bloomed in the mud, it's just that story. So anyway, wanted to write it from that night, because
Yes.
very disconnected from that 33 years of my life. Now it feels like some other girl's story, who is
Yes.
very naive.
Yep.
This past year, it didn't happen for a really long time, but after 9 years, it happened. I sat down at my desk and I had joined a writing workshop, and the story just came through. And within 3 months, I had my first draft, and it's out now. I published it a couple of months ago, as it's called by, realized by Rohne, and from sorry, from rock bottom to unconditional love. So
Yes.
yeah, that's available on Amazon, and yeah, it was.
And we'll link it. I'm going to link it here in the comment section so anybody can click on it if they're interested. It'll be here for you guys just to click on. I already have mine in my Amazon cart ready to purchase. I'm so, because I feel like there could be thousands of memoirs out there, and they could have similar stories, but no one story is like the other. Every experience is different. Every voice is different. Every perception of life is different.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, like, you and I could sit on the same roller coaster and have completely different experiences and still share it.
Yeah, I mean, the way I say that, and you're the same thing. I say the same thing. Like, if we are 8 billion people of us here, there are 8 billion ways to the truth, to love,
Yes.
to home.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're right. We are
Yeah.
all going to take our own, way back
Yeah.
to our home. But you're right.
Yep.
Everybody's is different, and it was just my, the way I wrote it. Because when I was growing up in India, I had no role models. Books were my role models.
Yep.
I was like some girl, some miserable little girl out there who is sad and in misery, maybe finds my book and says that, okay, this girl she lived
Yeah.
courageously, and she thought she lost it all, and the cost was that she had to lose it all to get everything and
Everything.
more.
Yep. And every spiritual awakening says the same thing. You have to lose it all before you get it all. Because what you have prior is the unawake self's version of, well,
Yeah.
this is good enough. And good enough just is never good enough.
Yeah.
You get to have it all. You get to have it all. But the thing is you have to choose that you deserve it. You have to choose that you deserve it all. And then that is when, God or goddess or universe or whoever it is that you say
Yeah.
is like, of course you do. Here.
Yeah.
And then yours was, here's the cool thing is, although you think your story is, bland, it's huge. It's huge
It's a
because
common person's
something
story.
it's something that anybody could relate to.
Yes,
Being
that's
at
what I mean.
home,
Yeah.
it's so relatable, and I think that that's something really, really important because, like you said, it just takes one person.
Yeah.
It takes one person. It takes one person reading that book, going, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
oh my God, I went through this. Oh my God,"
It is a very that's what I mean by bland is, oh, everybody is, how you normalize stuff. Oh, stop it
Yeah,
already. Everybody has things in their life. You're not the only special person. People's non-compassion has become the norm. People are not compassionate. People are become so insensitive. So that's why I say yes, it's everybody's. The reason I say it's very simple is because a lot of us are just going through the same stuff, right?
yeah,
But it is how you show up, how
yeah,
you find your truth in it, and how much are you going to be loyal to that truth. Because when I say truth, it is
yeah.
that essence, that God
Yes.
essence.
It's deep. It's so deep. It's not here. It's not here. It's so deep. It's deep. That essence. I mean, it starts at the root. Let's be real. We'll get into that on a whole different time. But it's been such a pleasure having you here today and sharing your beautiful, just adventurous story. And I thank you so much for taking the time. I've taken an hour and a half of your time. Thank you for
No,
sharing with the
it's
audience everything you went through, and especially sharing that helpline. I think a lot of people think helpline and they're like, oh my God, something's gonna happen, they're gonna judge me. They're so welcoming and they're willing to go above and beyond. So thank you for sharing that experience. Is there anything that you want to leave off on?
yes, I do want to say a few things. Ashley, thank you so much for being such a wonderful host and creating this wonderful space. Because every person pulls something very unique out of you with the way they ask questions and what they bring to the conversation itself. So this has been a wonderful experience. I've had so much fun, and I really want to also highlight ACISTE, American Center for Spiritually Transformative Experiences. It's a nonprofit. They do amazing work. And if people are out there, wondering about anything, there is all sorts of help there. And for some people it might be really what they're looking for, community for people to just see, understand, and hear them out. So that is amazing. I want to call that out. And apart from that, as we spoke, if people here love hearing the stories we spoke about, in my memoir, Realized from Rock Bottom to Unconditional Love, I go into more unfiltered, raw, honest stories about the first 33 years of my life, um, which basically, in phases, I accumulated the courage to be the person that I'm today and live this life from a place of grace, amazing grace, unconditional love, and joy, and authentic power. That is our superpower. Everybody has to
Yeah.
mine it. Okay, so
Yes.
that they have to do. If they loved our stories here, they would love my memoir. It's available
Yes.
on Amazon. And also the last bit is I'm a coach as well. So I have my coaching website, rohnofficial.com, where I'm rolling out a bunch of programs in the coming months, so they can go and they can, sign up to be notified of those courses as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and we'll put all the links in here. I want to put the link for the hotline. I want to put the link for your website and the link for your book. It'll all be in the comment section and everything like that. So it'll be one click, stop for everybody. Make it easy because Lord knows I hate going and looking up things separate. I hate it.
Yeah.
My sister actually got really upset at me because she went to go onto my tabs to look something up, and I had like
Yeah.
42 tabs open. Because ADHD, you're like, I want to research this thing, but I can't do it right now. I don't want to forget about it. So you open up the tab, you type it in, you look it up, and then you move on. I mean, I have tabs from like last year up there
Oh,
still. And she goes, "You can't complain about why your phone is so slow." I said, "I don't anymore. Like, I know." I said, "This is what ADHD does. It's either that or sticky notes all over the house. You choose your poison." Like I did. I had sticky notes all over the house, and they were falling places. And she was like, "Dude, okay." So we'll make it really easy for anybody to go and find all the links and all the stuff. I would love to have you again. I would love to have you again. The more that I get to know you, the more fascinating you are. I just love your energy. I love your presence. And I love your story so much. Thank you so much. I really love it.
Ashleigh, thank you so much. You are love, light in this world, and I'm so grateful. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being and having me on this podcast. And I would love to come and speak to you anytime you invite me. And
Yay.
I thank you so much for this amazing time today here.
Of course. And as always, you guys, I love you so much. Ta-ta.